What's going on, Tilray traders and investors? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. And it is Tuesday, November 4th. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're holding up okay. I know it's been brutal out there, pretty much across the board here today. But you know, again, I'm not trying to say I told you so or anything like that. I told people that we were probably going to 135, and then we were probably going to 113. And today we came very, very close to hitting that 113 target. And yeah, we were discussing in the Pow Group private community, and I think it was, it was earlier this morning. I can't remember. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, it was Lucas in the Pow Group private community. He said, "All right, the jig is up. Just admit you have a crystal ball, Rod. Your Tilray predictions have always played out. Hopefully, that 113 is a true bottom. I think there's a high probability that it is." And, as I said, no news is bad news. If we don't get any determination with regards to rescheduling or something better than that, then we're just going to continue to fade this entire move. And that's exactly what we've been seeing. But I don't have a crystal ball. I'll tell you that right now. I try to, I want Tilray to go to $100. I want it to go to the moon yesterday, right? Just as much as anybody. But, that's not, I'm not going to come on here and just fill everybody full of hopium and permabull. I want to look at the chart. I want to have an unbiased opinion of the chart, and I want to get to the most likely scenario and conclusion and just be real with everybody. And, it doesn't matter if it's on the downside, the upside. I try to do my best to be as honest and genuine and unbiased as possible. And if you haven't noticed already, I'm still pretty sick, so super sore throat. Probably not going to be a long one today, but before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell. Like I said, I know it's not always great to be hearing these, downside targets, but wouldn't you much rather somebody tell you the truth versus, we're going to the moon tomorrow, it's, there's enough people just trying to clickbait and whatnot. And like I said, I'm a Tilray investor. I own it, and this isn't financial advice. You shouldn't buy or sell anything based on anything that I do. But you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. So when you're looking at a chart, right, and obviously after a massive move down from like 35 cents all the way up to $2.32, you need to expect a pretty sizable pullback. But the problem is most people don't expect a 50% pullback. I would tell people that if you go from 30 cents to $2, you need to expect at least a 30 to 40% pullback, like bare minimum, and that would be considered healthy. So if you pull back 50%, it's like, okay, now we're getting into a little bit of a predicament here, but it's still not that bad considering we're at 124 and we were just at 35 cents not too long ago, right? We have a market cap of 1.39 billion and we were just at 500 million. So, when in doubt, zoom out, take a step back and just realize that, holy, not too long ago, we were just at 30 cents. But then you look at a chart and you try to identify, a few different patterns, indicators, signals that you like and that kind of resonate with you. But obviously not everybody's going to be, no two people are the same. But what I really like doing is looking at a few different patterns, uptrends versus downtrends. I like using the exponential moving average, the simple moving averages. I looking at the weekly time frame. I like to factor in, the Pow algo alerts as well, which I've created 25 different custom alerts. So you don't have to go that crazy. RSI is another good one, right? So not only were we heavily overbought on the RSI, we confirmed a daily downtrend, so that's major red flag number 2. Then we had an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, red flag number 3. We had a head and shoulders with a target of 113, number 4. We had a daily bear flag with a target of 135. Then we had an hourly bear flag. So you literally can't make this stuff up. And we're not yet daily oversold, so we could see a little bit more downside as a result. And we also had a bearish triple thunder crossover. So this is a custom alert that I created, that when you lose the 10-week moving average and the stochastic and the MACD cross bearish on the weekly, you need to expect a ton of downside, and that's exactly what we got. On the flip side, when the black is below the red and they cross, that's a bull cross, and the price gets above the 10-week moving average. That's a bullish triple thunder crossover. Price went from about 55 cents all the way up to $2.30, right? So now we had the flip side of that, but look how much higher we still are compared to where we just came from, right? So again, when in doubt, zoom out. It's all about perspective. But that was another major red flag, that we lost the 10-week moving average. That's another, what are we at? Red flag number 6 now. And then stochastic, MACD, 7, 8 major red flags. Then we topped out right at the 200 weekly and then lost the 100, and we have nothing nearby until the 50 weekly. So again, when you get above these moving averages and you top out, and especially that upper wick there, that's another red flag. And then on the daily time frame, we had the golden cross, and then we had upside, came down, lost the 50-day, and we had support down there at the 100-day moving average at 104. So we lost our key support there with the 50-day moving average. That was another red flag. So you're already at like 10 red flags, and that just says confluence. Confluence just means multiple signals, patterns, indicators all saying the same thing. If 8 out of 9 or 8 out of 10 indicators that we like to follow, pattern signals, are all bearish, well, why are we going to be bullish, right? Obviously, we're going to expect downside. If they're all bullish, then we're going to be on the bull side, right? So again, I wish I was wrong. I wish, this is one of those times where I would love to have been wrong, right? Where, it would have just potentially hit, maybe even 140, 150, and then rocketed back up to $5, $100, $500 million a share, right? Obviously, that's what I want, but that's not, me being genuine and completely honest with everybody, right? So, this is why we know what the charts, we like to follow the charts as well, right? Because the whole sector was still weak. No news is bad news. If we don't get rescheduling, or news are better. The broader market was a little shaky today. Crypto was shaky today. Everything, risk-on assets are getting government shutdown, right? So all of these things we need to factor in. And if you're not looking at other names in the space as well, you're missing the bigger picture. And I mentioned in the video yesterday with SNDL, this hadn't formed yet. But I said, I'm leaning bearish because we're not yet daily oversold. We have another daily bear flag that's forming. So again, and then here we are down over 15%. And I even said in the video, I expected 244 was the revenue estimate. It came in at literally 244 Canadian. And they were expecting flat, and EPS came in negative 0.05. So they had a bigger loss than expected. Exactly what I said in my video. I said, I'm leaning bearish because of this bear flag. Did I know they were going to have a beat or a miss? No, but again, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. And that was the probability, the most likely scenario, right? And then if you're not looking at SNDL and you're invested in Tilray, if you're not looking at SNDL, the other Canadian peers, or MSOS, well, you're not getting the bigger picture, right? And the whole sector was bearish. I mentioned this yesterday, and then look, most names down 5-6% today on average. And the S&P 500 today was weak as well. So bad timing, daily consolidation underway, but we're still very, very close to all-time highs. And I do believe that we're going to see a series of rate cuts. We'll get the government back maybe next week or so, and all will be well. And we'll probably get some sort of announcement with regards to rescheduling soon. I do believe they'll move forward with that, safe banking by potentially the midterms. But again, crypto it's all crypto, blockchain, AI. So what is there still to do with crypto? The Clarity Act, they're trying to get that done before the end of the year. So again, I think that's the reason why they haven't said anything. They're even dodging questions, right? The new drugs are, and all these, the DEA, the new administrator. It's because, in my opinion, they're giving their talking points, they're giving their narratives, and they're not quite yet to let the cat out of the hat yet, right? They want to continue to focus on crypto. Once crypto legislation is done over the next couple of months, then that'll probably signal rotation into MJ policy with regards to the feds in the U.S. And it's just the way that's exactly what happened in 2018 when Canada legalized. MJ won its biggest run ever when crypto entered a bear market, and I expect something similar, right? Doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but so far that's pretty much how it's been playing out. So let me know what you think of this in the comment section below. But I can confirm I do not have a crystal ball. I just spent thousands and thousands of hours learning technical analysis and analyzing the broader stock market, and I've spent almost 2 decades in the finance world now. So it doesn't happen overnight, and I'm not always right, I'm not always wrong, but I feel like I have a pretty good gauge of what to expect. And again, there's never a guarantee, but it's all about probability and looking at what's the most likely scenario. And I do believe that a local bottom is probably a lot closer than most people think. All right, going into there, it's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next one.